It's 6:15 in the morning on January 6th, 2024. Gosh, it'll be nice when I have like the right lighting. And when I got run over by a truck November 10th, 2020, my life as I knew it was over. I'm really fortunate that I'm here and I can make these videos. And I'm now 55. And when I was very young, my mom was very interested in Werner Erhard. He used to be called EST. He did lots of seminars. And I was fortunate enough to do the very first children's training. I actually turned 6 during the training. 6 was the cutoff, and I was 5 when it started, and they let me start anyway. And he said something that I cannot stop thinking about. Werner Erhard said that people will do anything to be right. They'll lose their family. They'll do anything. They will do anything. People will do anything to be right. And this is the weirdest shadow, my glasses. I can't stop thinking about it because I can't believe my family disowned and stopped talking to me after my accident because they don't believe my ex-husband was abusive. They would rather believe that I wanted to get drunk and cheat on him. I never cheated on him. He signed divorce papers and told me I was worthless. And he caught me with someone else after he signed divorce papers. And I'm not saying that I want you to feel sorry for me. I just want you to look at what you've done in your life to make sure that you're right. And is being right all that important? I don't think it is. I think the truth is more important than being right. And if you don't, if you don't deal with your own problems, they will come back and haunt you. You do have to deal with your problems because your brain remembers everything. Even though I had a severe traumatic brain injury, it didn't make me forget. The only thing it made me forget was how to deal with dysfunction, which made it impossible for me to be part of my family. And the more I looked back on it, I realized that that's why they were so frustrated with me. I wasn't willing to play by the rules of dysfunction. And, you know, at this point, I know that speaking my truth is important. And I am not so convinced that it is worth what it's cost me. At this moment, I know my future self is going to understand why it's important to speak your truth. And I don't regret that nobody believed me. My ex-husband was verbally abusive and didn't believe that I was worth anything more than having sex. It's not your duty as a wife to have sex with your husband. That's fucking bullshit. It's not. It's not your duty to have sex with your husband when you don't want to. But that's a real common belief, and women get a really fucked up end of the stick. And we also are very powerful, luckily. And if you don't want to listen to me talk, you don't have to. If you want to listen to me talk and then tell me how annoying I am, then that's great too. I'm going to keep speaking my truth, and I'm going to keep annoying people. And I really hope I inspire people to, no matter what, no matter how your makeup looks or your hair, or that's not what's important. What's important is what's inside. And I know what's inside me is good. And I know what's inside me is the truth. And I'm not interested in throwing people under the bus. You know, my ex-husband isn't a horrible person. He just would rather blame me than deal with his problems. And before my traumatic brain injury, I really thought that was an honor. I thought it was an honor for people to blame me. You know, I think in my family, drinking is a problem. And maybe secretly they wish they could cheat on their husbands. I don't know. But just the fact that I'm still here after surviving a traumatic brain injury, there has to be a reason. Another one of my classmates passed away recently. I graduated from high school in 1986. Emily Cox. I haven't seen her since I graduated, but I really enjoyed keeping in touch with her on Facebook. And I just realized that I'm really lucky that I'm so healthy and that people don't believe I had a traumatic brain injury because you can't tell. But it gives them a lot of reasons to put things on me that aren't true. And I just really want to bring more honesty into the world. I want people to really show up as who they are and stop pretending to be something else. And I do have a lot of joy and happiness in me. And even the truck couldn't knock that out of me. And this journey over the past 3 years, especially, I just yelled and screamed for the first 2.5 years. Because I came from a family that was very used to ignoring my pain and pretending like I'm dramatic, I make things up. But the truth is, I've survived some pretty incredible things. And I healed too much. And I went through my personal injury money really quick because I invested in myself. I invested in courses from Natalie Hudson. If anyone knows who she is. If you don't, look her up, Natalie Hudson. She's amazing. And I found Kiana Dinelli from the Invest Diva movement. You got to look her up too. They all have free information. You don't have to pay to be part of their communities. And of course, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziano. I've listened to everyone. Jamie Kern Lima has inspired me for years. I've been watching her since she started on QVC. I'm so excited for where she's going. I know this seems like I'm rambling on. And it's just so important that you listen to yourself. And I raised 2 kids, and if you're a young mom, don't put your kids first. They grow up. And you have to take care of yourself and be an example to your kids, to stand up for yourself and take care of yourself. Because they grow up. And I know as women, we're told that, your children are the most important thing you'll ever do, but you have to lead by example. And if you let people walk on you and put stuff on you that isn't yours because you think you're stronger than them, you're doing them and yourself a disservice. Just because you can handle their problems and they can't doesn't mean that they don't need to deal with them. There has to be more scapegoats out there. Every family has one. And I thought it was an honor to be the scapegoat. It's not an honor. It's just an excuse to keep dysfunction alive. And being a creative person with psychic abilities, and psychic abilities are not something, everyone has them. I'm not special because I can tune into energy. Anybody can tune into energy. But I've really found what's more of a superpower is to speak the truth, no matter what, because you're going to piss people off. People are going to tell you, oh, you're not really that happy. Oh, you don't really know this. I can't believe I already have some trolls. I have no idea where this YouTube channel is going to go, and I'm sorry if you don't think this is valuable, but I know there's people out there that need to hear what I'm saying. There's people out there that need to know that even when you speak your truth and it puts you in a situation that is extremely uncomfortable, speak your truth anyway. I'm really frustrated with my living situation. Since I left my ex-husband in 2008 and my family decided it was a bad decision, which is fucking ridiculous. If you think you know what's better for someone, you need to shut the fuck up. Because nobody knows what's better for anyone except you. And if you're making judgments about how someone else is living their life, you need to have a look at your own life. Because nobody has permission to judge other people. And if you don't like how someone's acting and you don't like how they're treating you, you really need to look at how you're treating them. You know, my family just keeps going on and on about how difficult I was after I got run over by a truck and how I disrupted their life. They don't want to look at how they treated me. They don't want to look at my reaction to their reaction. They just want to judge my reaction. It's not okay. If you're judging how someone's reacting and not looking at your actions, I don't know if this is valuable, and I sure keep pausing a lot. You really have to be true to who you are, and I think we lose that. I think that one of the biggest problems that's going on, is that people don't feel important. I know that's a huge struggle of mine. And for some reason, problems and difficulties, even my problems and my difficulties, I wish that I didn't have to bring them up. And because I know that, I don't know if there's power in that. I think that the real power is just being who you are. And at the moment, because of my brain injury, I can't go back to work like I did. And I am dependent on my family to deal with my housing, and they're not speaking to me. And I just can't seem to find a landlord that's not driven by money. I thought my landlord in this space, and I am constantly having to move where I have to move. It's awful. And I haven't given myself time to heal. I've healed out of necessity because I'm stubborn, and our brains are so much more than we understand. Your brain can heal. I was told mine wouldn't. And there's a lot of people out there that are using my brain injury as an excuse, telling me that I'm treating them how I'm treating them because of my brain injury, and not taking into account their actions and what they say and how disregarding they are. I really don't know what my journey looks like, and I'm having the hardest time picking one thing because I love my watercolors. I love making jewelry, and I do love doing energy work. I think energy is so important. But I'm just going to be who I am. And for those of you that it resonates with, please stay on my journey. And those of you that just want to tell me how fake and annoying I am, you can come for the journey too. Because without trolls, it means if you don't have people telling you that you're screwed up and messed up, then you're not speaking your truth. Because there's no such thing as everyone liking you. Not everyone's going to like me. People are going to hate me. And as long as you know you're speaking your truth, it really doesn't hurt as bad. What does hurt is when you believe in other people and then expect them to believe in you. I'm learning in these past 3 years since my injury in 2020 that it doesn't matter how much you give. You can't give and expect people to give you that back. It doesn't work that way. And that's okay. It's a challenge to not be angry about it. And I love the t-shirt, Find Your Path. I'm still trying to find my path. This is from Natalie Hudson. And I know this just seems like rambling, but my intuition told me I needed to come down here and make this video and post it because there are some messages in here that somebody needs to hear. And if you're struggling because you're afraid to speak up against someone who's been abusive to you sexually, mentally, my ex-husband, I unfortunately had another boyfriend for 11 years who was also had his own problems, and I thought I could solve them. And it was a big distraction. You can't solve anyone's problems. You can only solve your own and hope that you solving your problems will inspire someone to do the work they need to do. You can't do work for people. But I had 2 relationships that were abusive in their different ways. I thought it didn't matter that my family never believed me. And I'm not sure. I don't believe in accidents. I'm not sure why this housing situation, what the lesson is that I need to learn from this. I've got to figure out how to generate an income, and I've been spinning my wheels for 3 years. I think a big reason is because I'm not giving myself permission to heal. I've healed quite a bit, obviously, or I couldn't sit here having this conversation with my phone and with whoever chooses to listen to it. Just don't give up on that knowing that you have inside you. I'm 55 and I've been given a lot of evidence that I should just give up. My family has money and they'll pay for me to stay here as long as she can pay the rent directly to landlord, because they won't give the money to me, which I don't know if anyone's a renter out there. If you've ever tried to find a rental to get a third party to pay your rent, it's a fucking nightmare. I've been doing it since 2008 and I'm fucking sick of it. And I'm gonna trust my intuition and my guides that told me making this video might make a difference. I don't want to just complain, and it's a really shitty situation. because my landlord flat out said to me yesterday, well, if your family won't speak to you, that's a red flag. I'm like, my family, I didn't even tell her. My family doesn't speak to me because they're in contact with my ex-husband and don't believe he was abusive and would rather believe that I was insane. When being able to speak about your abuse and wanting to resolve and talk about it, I never told them to hang him and kill him. I said, make him responsible. He should be responsible for thinking that I'm of no value. But they don't think I'm of a value either. So they're all in agreement. And so they get to have each other. But I know I'm of value. And I know speaking your truth is more important than being comfortable every day. Because in the long run, the truth is the only thing that holds up. There's no such thing as my truth. There's no such thing as your truth. There's only such things as the truth. So don't stop believing in the truth. And really take a hard look at what you believe is the truth. And that's the scariest part. People are willing to do anything to be right, even disown their own family. And it comes from a really shallow place. And we're in some scary times. And the only thing that's going to save us, that's going to bring us out of this, is to be honest. Wow, 22 minutes. I'm just going to keep trusting that somebody needs to hear something I'm saying. And that it's going to inspire someone to stand in their truth no matter how uncomfortable it is. And to trust that speaking your truth and doing what you know is right for you is the most important thing. Thank you, whoever is actually listening to this. Thank you for knowing that speaking the truth and being who you authentically are is the most important thing. Because you couldn't sit here and listen to me unless you knew how important it is to be true to who you are. And I know someday I am going to be speaking to you from good lighting and not having this odd line from my glasses on my eyes. And I'll figure out how my watercolors and making my Barbie shoe earrings and connecting with people about energy is going to all turn into something more than this big mess that it is right now. And that I'm going to figure out how to get out of this housing mess and into my own house. Because obviously I'm not going to do that with any help from my family or lawyers. Because the city and the lawyers all took advantage that I had had struggles in my life before I got run over. But I'm not going to take advantage of having struggles in my life. I refuse to be a victim. I'm going to be victorious over this situation. And something tells me that this audience that wants to listen to me and sees that I'm of value is going to be instrumental in my success. And someday we can talk about when I had under 40 subscribers and had no clue what it was going to turn into. So I mean, if people can watch me make jewelry for an hour and a half, maybe it'll be more interesting to listen to me talk for 25 minutes or so. I feel better after talking for 25 minutes, and I can only hope that you feel better too, knowing that it is a struggle to speak your truth. But don't sacrifice it. Don't sacrifice what you know in your heart is the best thing to do. And if you're blaming people in your life, it sounds like I'm blaming them, but my family's just confused. I mean, I you know, anyone that can ignore that someone was hit by a truck at 20 miles an hour in a crosswalk, and that maybe that's why I was so angry? No. They don't want to look at themselves, so me being myself and being honest is very difficult for them. I love my family, and I'm really excited about the day where their dysfunction isn't controlling my housing situation. Because I can't believe how impossible the situation is. I'm going to figure something out sooner than later. And you're all going to come with me on that journey. We'll figure it out together. Thank you. I'm going to go get ready. Dean Graziano is having an event today at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm sure it's a free event. I don't think it's closed down. I listen to as many motivational speakers as I can. It's important because there's always something new to learn every single day. Thank you for listening to me. And let's all remember that we can't blame people, and that even when it feels better to blame people, really the truth is that I've allowed them to treat me this way. And I take full responsibility for it. And these are the consequences of allowing other people to think they're better than me because I believed they were better than me. And I now understand nobody's better than anyone. I always thought I believed that, but I honestly thought that they were more important than my own life. And that's why I am where I am. So please know that loving someone unconditionally is different than thinking they're better than you and know better than you. There's no such thing. Nobody knows better than you. Even me as a psychic, if you have a psychic telling you that you need them and you can't do things without them and you have to depend on them, that's not a good psychic. A good psychic will teach you that all the answers are inside you. I constantly, whenever I do readings, I just tell people I give them permission. They know. But for some reason, when I tell them, yes, that is what happened. Yes, that is your loved one visiting you. They believe it. But they knew it. Well, I rambled on for a half an hour. I hope that you got some value out of this, and thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. Thank you. Sending love and gratitude. Thank you. Bye.